Just after 7 a.m., Tiger Woods was involved in a single-car accident on Hawthorne Boulevard. That's near Rolling Hill Estates here in Southern California. According to reports, a neighbor alerted the authorities at 7:12 a.m. When authorities arrived, he was wearing a seatbelt and he was, quote, lucid and calm, but was unable to get out of the car. Initial reports mentioned that the jaws of life were used to get him out, but that was not the case. The fact that the jaws of life were mentioned in an initial statement and that turned out to be not the case is a very good reminder of the fact that in moments like this, with the way information spreads, as quickly as it spreads, the initial information oftentimes is not true. Here's what we understand happened at that point. He was taken to Harbor UCLA Medical Hospital. That's a little less than 10 miles away from the scene of the accident. At the time that I went off the air, there had been a statement from his agent, Mark Steinberg, that, quote, Tiger Woods was in a single-car accident this morning in California where he suffered multiple leg injuries. He is currently in surgery. We thank you for your privacy and support, end quote. And now a little more than 24 hours after the accident, we do know a little bit more. According to L.A. County Sheriff Alex Villanueva, Woods was driving at a, quote, relatively greater speed than normal, end quote, when his SUV made contact with the median. Then it went over the median, went across a couple of lanes, hit a curb, hit a number of trees, and rolled several times, with the vehicle ending up hundreds of feet from the road. Villanueva said that there were no skid marks and no evidence of braking. According to Villanueva, it's going to take days or weeks to complete a thorough investigation. Anish Mahajan is the chief medical officer and interim CEO at Harbor UCLA Medical Center. He released the following statement that was part of a larger statement which was tweeted by Woods' Twitter account. Quote, Mr. Woods suffered significant orthopedic injuries to his right lower extremity that were treated during emergency surgery by trauma specialists at Harbor UCLA Medical Center, a level 1 trauma center. Comminuted open fractures affecting both the upper and lower portions of the tibia and fibula bones were stabilized by inserting a rod into the tibia. Additional injuries to the bones of the foot and ankle were stabilized with a combination of screws and pins. Trauma to the muscle and soft tissue of the leg required surgical release of the covering of the muscles to relieve pressure due to swelling, end quote. So a lot of medical jargon there, but the good news is he is alive and he is awake following surgery and is responsive and is recovering in a hospital room. Man, you know how bad it is. You know how terrible a situation is, how bad an accident is when comminuted open fractures are considered good news. Because from the looks of that car, and the comments from authorities, yesterday could have been so much worse, especially if he had not been wearing a seatbelt. But that doesn't mean that it's not bad. It is brutal. I mean, what that means is you've got a tibia and a fibula, and there are multiple fractures. In fact, it sounds like not just fractures, it sounds like bones were shattered or crushed. And an open fracture means that the bone or bones were protruding through the skin. I mean, like the stuff of a horror movie. A rod was inserted into the leg for stabilization, and pins and screws were used to stabilize his foot and ankle. And in addition to all of that, on top of all of that, the insertion of a rod and pins and screws, they had to perform a surgical release on the leg to relieve pressure due to swelling. So that's the health status of Tiger Woods, and that's the latest update. And that's insane. That's crazy. We're talking about somebody who had a 5th back surgery not that long ago and was already rehabbing that. And now this. And on Monday, he was doing a video shoot with Dwayne Wade and David Spade at Rolling Hills Country Club. It was part of a series where he was going to give on-course instruction to celebrities. And then the reports yesterday was that he was due to shoot with Drew Brees and Justin Herbert. And then the next thing you know, he's undergoing emergency surgery in a level 1 trauma center. And yes, I'm aware of reports and speculation about yesterday morning, why he might have been traveling at a high rate of speed. But until we know more, I'm not going to get into that. In fact, that part of it really doesn't even interest me at all. I would just say, as one deputy pointed out, there are lots of people who speed in that same area, and there have been multiple accidents as a result. Also, authorities said that he was not impaired. He was not under the influence. And then there are all the folks rushing to make predictions about his future on the golf course. And that also, to me, is just neither here nor there. It's way ahead of schedule. He just had his leg or legs crushed in a car accident. He's got comminuted open fractures, rods, pins, and screws going into his legs. We don't even know the time frame for recovery from these surgeries or if more procedures are going to be necessary. What we know is he's somebody who's had countless surgeries on his legs and his back over the course of his career, and he's 45. What we know is he's a father, and that he's got 2 kids who are going through something right now that I can't even begin to imagine. And all of this comes a few months after he and his son Charlie played in a father-son event where it looked like they were both having the time of their lives. So much fun. And where Tiger had so much pride. The Tiger who played in that event looked a lot different from the ones we have seen in years previously. He looked like a different guy, a different person. So there probably will be more news coming out today, and I will continue to update it as it comes in. And if you want to talk about this, we certainly can. But the one thing I don't want to do, the one thing we're not going to do, is play amateur doctor or speculator or reporter or load up on a bunch of hearsay or conjecture or Twitter garbage. Not the time, not the place, not interested. Over the past 14 months, we've had a lot of reminders of how life can change in an instant, and this is yet another. So here's hoping that Tiger recovers as quickly and as soundly as possible without complication, and not so he can make a return to the tour, but for his family and for him personally.